Hey guys, how y'all doing? It's Mary Jo from MaryjoesCreations. If you're new here, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you stick around for a while. If you've been here before, hey, thank you for coming and listening to me rant. It's my pleasure. So, if you watched one of my last videos, or my last video, I don't know when I'm putting this up, but anyway, I was working on a baby blanket, which I am working on right now, and I decided to turn on the camera because I officially hate working with 3-weight yarn, and I just thought I would share that with you because it is driving me crazy. I don't understand how people work with 3-weight yarn all the time. I really don't. Because you know what? This yarn, it's just... I made a cardigan with this yarn. I believe this exact yarn, just a different colorway. Oh, there goes my label. Oh no, this is the Baby Bee. But I had used that Mandela 3-weight to make a cardigan, which I do love, but I forgot how much I hate working with this yarn. And not this yarn in particular, because I do love Mandela yarn. It's like one of my favorite yarns to work with. I use Mandela cakes all the time. Different ones, well, not all the time, but I've used them for certain projects. And even like the... so you could see my hands a little bit better. I'm still in the living room because I have to do this blanket, and I think I made the blanket a little bit too long. But if you only knew how many times I actually started this blanket, I don't want to start it again. I mean, first I tried making a granny rectangle blanket in this yarn, and that looked absolutely horrible. Did not like the way it looked. My friend also, the person I'm making this, because it's going to be a gift for her to give to somebody, and the person that I'm making this for, she didn't like it either, and she asked me to do it the way I made my shawl. Now, I know I've showed you my shawl before, but I will show it to you again, and for the purposes of what I'm going to talk about. And, you know, like, she loved the stitch of the shawl, which is, you know, my own pattern, and she asked if I could make the blanket that way. And I was like, sure. She wanted me to use that exact pattern. And, you know, that is made with I believe it's, the gradient is a 5-weight, that chunky yarn. And let me tell you something. It looks beautiful in the shawl. Now, I had to adjust it a little bit because this yarn is so thin, and I hate working with it. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I don't like thin yarn. Maybe it's just because I'm used to working with a 4-weight and over. Mostly, you know, like, even the cotton yarn that's, you know, supposed to be a 4-weight, but it's kind of thin. Even cotton yarn is better to work with than this. This is so, like, thin for me, and it's driving me crazy. I don't know what else to say. It's driving me crazy because it's so thin and it's just not looking the same. And I can't do it the same way. I'm almost done with this row, and then I'm going to show you what I mean. And, you know, maybe you can tell me what you think. And it's not that the blanket looks bad. It doesn't look bad. It's pretty. But I'm just so used to, like, you know, and you'll notice the difference. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. But, like, it looks so fluffy that this, I couldn't do the stitch anymore because, there we go. I couldn't do it exactly the way it's done in the poncho. Poncho. I think I'm slowly losing it, whatever sanity I have left. But I can't. Okay. It's so long. I made a mistake, but at this point, like I said, I'm not taking it apart because I've redone this blanket. Now it has to be like 4 times. Because, like I said, I tried to do the granny rectangle and that didn't come out. I didn't like the way it looked. It looked very, like, thin. Again, I think it's because I'm used to working with 4-weight yarn or 5-weight yarn that I didn't like the way it looked. And so, you know, you can see it better here. See, I have like a pattern going. It's just really like all double crochet V-stitches and half double crochets. And, you know, there's a section where it's like all, like, I think 4 rows of half doubles, and then it goes in a row of V-stitch, a row in half doubles, a row in V-stitch, a row in half doubles for, like, I think 9 rows. And then it was a pattern that I wrote for this shawl. And when you see you see how it looks. It looks so pretty. It really does. And I don't even think the camera's doing it justice, but it looks so pretty. And so I tried to do the same stitch for the blanket, but because the yarn is so thin, it was way too holey for me. It's a baby blanket. I don't want it to have spacing. It's not like this one doesn't have the spacing because, in my opinion, it's a thicker yarn, so it doesn't, you know, it doesn't have that spacing that this has. Now, I tried to do the regular V-stitch down here, and you see that? It's too holey. And, you know, the baby can stick their fingers through it. I just don't like it for a baby blanket. So what I did is I did leave it because it's on the border, right? So I left that. And then I did half doubles, and then I did do a V-stitch, but I did it with a half double crochet instead of a double crochet. So it still has the V-stitch, but it doesn't have that spacing. And I don't know if you can tell the stitches in the camera, if you could really see it well. I think it's looking good. Why don't you tell me? But I made it like so long. I think I measured it. It's at 54 inches. So it was supposed to be going this way. Like, supposed to be going. But I think that what I'm going to do is have it go this way, the long way, which is still going to be too long, but it might be like crib size, I guess. It would probably be crib size. And just make it like 35, 36 inches wide. And have this be the length. And technically that's not what I wanted. I wanted this to be the width. And then do the length. But I think this is way too wide for a baby blanket. So I'm doing this as the length. And, you know, have, and just go, I don't know how many rows I'm sorry. You know, my ADD is kicking in, and I feel like I'm losing what's left of my mind. Hold on, I'm doing a stacked single crochet. I mean, I can do it without the stitch marker. It's just, why did I do a stacked? I have no idea. Cause see, I think this baby blanket is making me go crazy. It really is. It's making me go crazy. So I decided to do, like, instead of doing double crochet V-stitch, I was gonna do the half double crochet V-stitch, because it would probably still give it that look, but without all the spacing that I didn't get when I used the thicker yarn. And it doesn't look exactly the same as the blanket. I mean, as the shawl. And I say blanket because it has been used as a blanket for a baby. So that's why sometimes I confuse it for a blanket, but it's a shawl. But it does have, I mean, like, with this yarn, I can't recreate that. It looks horrible. And I wonder, have any of you had that problem? Like, trying to you create a pattern, or you have a pattern with, like, a thicker yarn, and then you try to use a thinner yarn, and it just looks, you know, I mean, it didn't look bad. It just, it was too open for what I wanted. You know, like, I don't want a blanket that's, you know, that open, that many holes. Shouldn't baby blankets be more solid? And I had to size up because I was using, I did try making the blanket with a 5mm or a 5.5mm, I think. I don't know. The hook's here somewhere. And I think I talked about that. I tried using a 5.5. Can you see that? Okay, there you go. I tried using a 5.5mm hook. I did not like the way it looked. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if I'm, you know, going completely bananas. Because sometimes, like, between my ADD and my fiber fog, it's just like I can't think straight. And, you know, that's always fun. But I did not like the way it was looking. It was looking too thin, at least with the size 6, because I believe this is yes, this is a 6mm hook that I'm using right now. And I believe with the 6mm hook, it is giving it a more fuller look. Thicker look than it was with the 5.5. But it's just, honestly, I don't like working with 3-weight yarn. And it's a shame because I do love this yarn. Maybe if I tried, you know, using this yarn for something else instead of a blanket, I don't know. But, I mean, I have to use this yarn for the blanket because this is the yarn that she picked out. And I think it is going to look pretty. But honestly, at this point, it's just like I'm so frustrated because it's just not looking the way I wanted it to look. And at one point, it could have been, I thought it could have been the stitch, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes certain yarns, certain stitches don't look right. And I thought that by changing the stitch and the pattern, that it would like make a huge difference. And it has made a difference. It does look better in this stitch pattern that I'm using right here. In this pattern that I'm essentially creating right now, because I can't use that one. I mean, maybe I could use that pattern doing half double crochets, but again, at this moment, I don't want to take this blanket apart anymore. I mean, I ripped this blanket apart so many times that, like, I had to cut a chunk off. I mean, not a lot, but the yarn in the beginning of the project was just so, like, stretched from being ripped so many times that it was thin. Like, it was a lot thinner than what it normally looks. And I had to cut it out because I didn't like the way it was looking. And so now, I think I'm, at this moment, maybe 13 rows in. And it's starting, like, I started the repeat. Because this is essentially, like, going to be a... Oh, I love that for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A 6-row repeat, I think. Yeah, so it's going to be a 6-row repeat until I get it the width that I want. And then I will finish off the border the other side the same way I started it, which would be with a double crochet V stitch on the end, and, you know, 2 rows of single crochet. And honestly, it's like, I hope it's going to look good. It's just, I really don't like 3-weight yarn. It's too thin for me. And honestly, I don't know how some of y'all work with like 2-weight yarn and sock yarn, and this yarn is thin enough. How y'all work with that? And I have Kaboo yarn because I got it probably about a year and a half ago. And this was, again, before I was doing wearables, and before I knew what I'm, more or less what I'm doing, because let's be honest, I still don't fully know what I'm doing. But as crocheters, I think that no matter how long you crochet, you're always learning something. So, it's not, I don't think there's a crocheter out there who knows every single thing about crochet. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's always something to learn, whether it's a new stitch or whether it's like, new yarns. There's crocheters out there who've never worked with cotton yarn. So like, you're always learning something. But when I first started to venture into something other than acrylic and cotton, well, acrylic, because I think from acrylic, yeah, I did get some cotton. That's what I was doing because I wanted to practice my stitches. So I bought quite a bit of cotton yarn from Walmart, and I was using it to do dishcloths. So I figured that if I was going to learn how to do my stitches, I might as well make something that's going to be useful. And so I did make a lot of, not a lot, but I have at least 9 or 10 dishcloths before I started venturing off into, bandanas, and then into shawls. I made 2 shawls, and then I made a triangle top. And then that's when I went into my first wearable, which was the cardigan. But when I was still learning, and I was really ordering a lot of my yarn through Amazon at the time, like this was right in the beginning, probably like in March of last year. And I was ordering yarns from Amazon, and I didn't know what to look for. I didn't know anything about weights or anything about thickness or anything like that. And I ordered the Kaboo yarn because it was bamboo, and I wanted to try bamboo because I was trying yarns. And I had no idea how thin that yarn was. I was going to make a tank top with that yarn. I ripped that thing apart so many times that I ended up like, I was trying to do a panel. I don't know. I don't remember exactly what I was trying to do. I had an idea for a shirt, but it just wasn't working right because the yarn was so thin, and I fucking can't stand that. It was like driving me crazy how thin the yarn was, and I ripped it all apart. Well, first I ordered more yarn because I wasn't going to have enough, and then I just ripped it apart. And I don't know, I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, like, I do not want to use that yarn. It's about as thick as this, if not a little bit thinner. And I, 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 I don't want to use it. So I was just like thinking today, like, what I might do is I have another, like, I believe, no, that's a 2-weight yarn. Y'all, that's a 2-weight yarn. A 2-weight yarn. Now, if I'm like going crazy with a 3-weight yarn and I had to, move up to a size 6 hook to have it look the way I wanted it to, can you imagine me with a 2-weight yarn? No, no, no. So I was thinking, I had bought this other 2-weight bamboo yarn before I knew what I was doing, right? And there's like 4 different shades of like purple, lilac-y, I think it's like pinky purple, lilac-y colors, all in different shades. So, and they're very small balls, so it's not like I can really do anything with that yarn, you know? So what I might do is, and I don't really like double stranding, but what I might have to do is double strand the yarn. And I was contemplating on double stranding this yarn, but I only have 3 balls of this yarn. And I don't know how much I'm going to need. And I really don't want to buy any more of it. I really don't. So I'm just going to deal with it this way. And if I do have any yarn left over, I might just, like, I don't know. I don't know what I'll do with the yarn. Because it's official. I don't want to work with 3-weight yarn. So I think I rambled on enough. If you stuck around this long and listened to me ranting about 3-weight yarn, let me know what you think in the comment section. If you think I've totally lost my mind, let me know that too. Because I am definitely feel like I'm going crazy. And I will keep working on this baby blanket and try not to go completely mad as a hatter. And I'll give you an update when, I'm close to finishing it. hopefully it won't take too long. I'm guessing, I don't know. I think I'll need like another 20 inches after this. So that's going to be like maybe 6 more repeats. Maybe 7. But I might have to take a break from it and go do something else. Because again, so not a fan of 3-weight yarn. So if you watched this video until now and enjoyed my rantings about 3-weight yarn, thank you. Again, let me know in the comments what you think. And if you aren't subscribed yet, subscribe and you might hear me ranting about something else, or even, 3-weight yarn some more, or cursing it, or I don't know. I think it's going to drive me mad. But thank you so much for watching. If you watched it till the end, let me know. Let me know what you thought of my rant. And like I said, hit that subscribe button if you want to watch me again. And you can hit that little bell. It'll tell you when I'm on. And you can watch my new video. And I am working on some new stuff, and you'll get it soon. So, thank y'all for watching. Bye, guys.